edition of Third League Radio. We talk WWE being mad at Wrestling Observer. We'll talk the Forever Champ, the new champ, AEW, and more. Let's get to it.
I'm Paul Stanley of KISS. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
I told you last night, no!
You're listening to your source for pro wrestling talk.
For those that are unaware, my name is Fuego del Sol.
Yeah, I actually used to wrestle for Ring of Honor before I signed with WWE.
You know, that name that you just named, I've never had a one-on-one match here in Impact Wrestling Games for Swan.
And your place for modern rock.
Hi, I'm Lee Strauss.
Hey, this is Ozzy Osbourne.
It's going to be an awesome rock and roll party here.
This is Third League, rock and wrestling radio.
Well, first up, reports are coming out that indicate a higher up in WWE, well, reportedly expressed unhappiness with Brian Alvarez's show, Wrestling Observer Radio. It stems from him having AEW stars and executives appearing regularly while WWE talent is not featured. Alvarez answered this by saying, if you weren't such a weird cult, then you would be featured more often. That's basically what he said, but he goes on to say that WWE will not allow people to be on the show. AEW allows people to be on the show. It's really that simple. I'm going to quote him here. He says, if Kevin Owens wants to come on and talk about his busted up neck, let's do it. If John Cena wants to come on and talk about his horrific heel run, I'm here. But that isn't going to happen. But I'm bringing this up because the incident highlights a larger trend, one we've been talking about, WWE pettiness. They have edited MJF out of Happy Gilmore 2 trailers.
Yeah,
They've been mad that Wardlow and Camille are on American Gladiators because Miz is the host.
Wrestling Observer, they're being positive towards WWE. They've been given 5-star ratings. They've been given all this praise all year for how much money they're selling, and they're still petty over what?
Yeah, that's just
they don't care about Wrestling Observer. They've never looked into it until The Rock decided to go onto the website and listen to the radio one time.
Yeah, no, this is how they are. They see someone else doing something, they're like, why aren't you looking at me? Why aren't I doing that? I mean, it happened with... This is simply why they have a partnership, or not, I shouldn't say a partnership. It's why they own TNA. It's why they have a partnership, or excuse me, not own TNA, AAA. It's why they have a partnership with TNA. It's because that's what AEW started doing. They started having partnerships with CMLL, with AAA, with New Japan, and WWE said, hey, we can do that too. They tried to have a partnership with Noah. It became one-sided, and so much so that it's hardly even talked about anymore. I hardly ever hear about anybody going to Noah now from WWE.
They have this guy named Yoshiki Inamura. I think he wrestled in Noah a little bit, but he's in WWE doing stuff.
Well, I'm just saying that when Noah puts their title on Omos, and Omos is becoming a pretty big hit in Japan, and he's actually learning how to wrestle, and then they, oh, nope, you've got a title, come on back, and he's on the shelf. You haven't done anything with him. That doesn't play in good faith to companies when they see something like that. It's like, hey, we're doing something with him. Why did you take him home?
To succeed because he's Nigerian.
But this is kind of where I'm going with.
Vince liked him.
When they see... When they, as in WWE, when I say they, I mean WWE, when they see stuff like what AEW was doing with AAA, what they were doing with CMLL, with Pro Wrestling, with New Japan Pro Wrestling, with other companies like that, they get a bit of a jealousy, and then they want to do it. But when they want to do it, they want to be completely in control of it and then just toss it whenever they want to toss it. And they don't really respect anybody else they're working with. And that just goes into a whole broader issue that we're talking about here with them. Why aren't you talking about me on the radio? Well, let your guys come on the show, but you're going to ask them real questions. Yeah. It's just like the stuff that, I mean, sure, there may be some softball when Tony comes on, when AEW wrestlers come on, but it's a real interview for the most part. WWE doesn't like that.
Are you going to let me talk?
You're not talking.
I can't cut you off. You just keep going.
I'm waiting on you to say something.
I'm not going to cut you off.
I'm waiting on you to say something.
It's not like that at all. Because all it is them being hypocritical. They want people to get mad at Wrestling Observer when they're doing something. It's not about anything like they need to control it. They're not going to buy Wrestling Observer Radio. They're not trying to control the radio. Other things, sure, but that's not what they're doing here. They're just trying to make people not listen to Wrestling Observer.
Well, that's what they did with Busted Open. Busted Open used to be a right down the middle show until Tony Khan started coming on every week. And WWE got pissed. And now what is Busted Open?
Now
what is Busted Open?
All of the hosts have Legends contracts.
Busted Open is nothing more than a WWE-owned radio show.
Exactly.
Right. They did it with Busted Open. Busted Open used to be right down the middle until WWE got jealous.
Why are you arguing with me?
I'm trying to tell you the truth. You're arguing with me. You're like, no.
No, I'm telling you that Busted Open, they were bought out with their Legends contracts. You can't Legends contract Brian Alvarez. So they're trying to say, hey, don't watch them.
Before we change topics on this, speaking of Busted Open, they are the new flagship for a wrestling-themed Sirius channel. A wrestling radio channel on Sirius XM. No, they were on a Sirius channel, but it wasn't 24/7 professional wrestling related. Busted Open is going to be the flagship show of a new pro wrestling related Sirius channel. I mean, it's...
what else is on it?
I don't know yet. That was just the announcement that's been made. But, I mean, it's good. I mean, I'm going to send our show in, but it's... I don't know. Is it oversaturating the market? Because pro wrestling is hot, and it's cool. But when it gets to be everywhere all the time, it starts to be uncool. It's like when U2 showed up on your iPhone, and you didn't even order U2.
There are plenty of people who don't look at wrestling podcasts on YouTube, or they drive a lot. People use Sirius. You don't have to listen to it if you don't want to. It's great exposure. It's a way for people to learn things, even if it is Busted Open. So, of course, they're not going to learn anything from Busted Open, but you get what I mean. I mean,
exactly.
Shows.
I was about to say that. They're not going to learn anything if you're listening to Busted Open.
You're listening to Third League Radio.
We're talking about champions here in the next couple of segments. We're talking about the Forever Champion as Death Before Dishonor coming up in September, on September 5th. If Athena can keep the Ring of Honor title until September 5th, which she's got a challenge coming up here on July 11th at Supercard in Thunder Rosa, but if she can keep the title until September 5th, that is 1,000 days as Ring of Honor Women's Champion.
Well, I don't think there's a reason for Thunder Rosa to beat her, because there's not really a point in it. Like, what would it do for Thunder Rosa? Would it really do much for ROH? Would it really be worth it?
Well, I don't know, but Athena was on Sports Illustrated's The Takedown talking about what she's going to do if she actually reaches 1,000 days as champion. She said she's going to start calling herself the modern-day Bruno Sammartino. I like it.
Doesn't she have to reach 2,000 to do that?
I don't know, but I know... I don't know if a female has ever, aside from the Fabulous Moolah when the title was discontinued, but they said she held it for 25 years. I don't know if a female wrestler has legitimately held a title for this long. This might be the first time.
No. I mean, I think Charlotte held hers for a full year, but, like, other than that, like, I don't think it's been longer.
A 1,000-day title reign. And the only time she's lost in that, I believe, was to Mercedes Moné in the tournament, the Owen Hart. I think that's the only time she's lost in that entire reign.
I don't know if she lost like a multi-women match somewhere in there, but she's never been pinned, right? Other than from Mercedes.
Yeah, that's the only person who has pinned her is Mercedes. And apparently the word is Mercedes was, I don't want to say politicking to lose that match, but I will say Mercedes was more than open to losing that match because that would have set up a bigger match later. Athena goes on to win that. It was actually on, I don't know if it came from Dave Meltzer or if it came from Fightful. But, but that was after Mariah May, or that was before Mariah May had signed with WWE and changed her name to Blake Monroe or whatever. So Mariah May was still in the plans. And once they realized, okay, this is not going to happen, that's when plans changed and Mercedes got the win. But yeah, 1,000 days coming up on September 5th.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane. I don't think she should ever lose it. She should have it until she retires. She should break every record that has ever been there.
Yeah, Forever Champ is a fitting name.
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
But speaking of champions, the era of Sabre is once again upon New Japan, as Zack Sabre Jr. would get the win against Hiroki Goto at, well, what was called Tanahashi Jam. It was a celebration of Tanahashi. He actually wrestled twice that night, Hiroshi Tanahashi did. But it wasn't televised. American fans couldn't buy it. It was just a show, a celebration of Tanahashi show. And Zack Sabre Jr. wins the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. That's like winning it at a house show almost.
Yeah. I mean, that's really cool. I like the idea, and I get the story, I guess, now that they're doing it, but I didn't like how we got there, so...
Well, I think you might be mistaken on the story, because there are reports coming out that the reason that Goto dropped it is because he has to have elbow surgery. Now, we'll see how true those reports are, but that would be a good reason to drop it at a show like that. Also, the story you had that you were thinking of, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, where... because Sabre had the most defenses of the title. He loses it to someone who's been trying to get the title for 20 years. And then as he's about to break the defense record, he loses it to the guy he beat.
Yeah, see, that's actually a good story. Maybe that's maybe they're going to mix the two. Okay, we've got to take it off Goto. He's hurt. He's going to need surgery. Who can we put it on? And they think of that story, too. They're like, oh, we can do this. We can use this. And Zack Sabre's the guy that they put it on.
Maybe. And the house show is definitely a great way to do it. I mean, that's awesome.
Well, especially at something like Tanahashi Jam, where it's not just a normal house show. Like Tanahashi opened the show and he closed the show.
Was it on a TV in Japan?
That I'm not sure of. If it was, it wasn't like a big show, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tanahashi actually won the main event. Tagging with Marufuji, they would get the win in that. But yeah,
Marufuji.
I think the biggest news of Tanahashi Jam had nothing to do with Hiroshi Tanahashi at all.
Third League Radio.
Well, let's start with the wrestling. We'll pick it up in AEW as Dynamite would kick off with a bang as Tony Storm and Luther blindsided by Mercedes Moné. I mean, a beatdown angle right at the start before anybody can even say anything. I don't even know if Excalibur had time to say it's Wednesday. You know what that means. Mercedes Moné is beating down Tony Storm and basically locks in the bank statement before Mina Shirakawa comes out and runs him off, but she locked it in.
She does a little promo after that, right?
Yeah, she did as well. But then we'd go to the Young Bucks, who come up on screen and say, oh, hey, by the way, Swerve Ospreay, your match isn't later on tonight, it's now. It takes Ospreay, 15, 20 seconds after his entrance music's playing to even show up, and he's run out taping his wrists up. He's got to tie his boot.
That's cool.
Inside the ring, Swerve would come out. Then they take on Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. It's not a bad match at all. They are pushing Blake Christian and Lee Johnson.
Blake Christian's awesome.
But the ending would see Christian would counter big pressure. Johnson tried to intervene. He would eat a running elbow from Ospreay. Swerve hits the brainbuster. Then the house call gets the win there. But then security would prevent Swerve and Ospreay from charging the Bucks. So Swerve basically challenges them to a match at All In Texas, which we're going to have a report from in here in a couple of weeks. We'll have a live report from you from All In Texas. But then we go to a little bit of a backstage segment that leads to the next match. Because it's, basically a kind of a sketchy truce as the Callis family comes up. Okada, the quote-unquote newest member of the Callis family, but he's also a member of the Elite, or was, or still is, I don't know. But it's Callis family, Okada, Young Bucks meet up in the back. And basically, they tell Trent, hey, go out there and hurt Kota Ibushi. Because Trent's got to wrestle Kota Ibushi in the next match. And then there's this kind of weird Okada Takeshita tease where Takeshita's like, this is only temporary. And then we go back to the match, which is not bad, but of course Kota Ibushi's going to get the win in this one.
And then we see it's going to be Ibushi versus who next week?
Okada,
right. They're trying to take out Kenny's reinforcements, his bodyguards.
On Dynamite 300, it is Okada versus Ibushi. But that is, I don't like them. Trent is always the fall guy for some reason of the Callis family when he is.
Well, who else do you have lose?
He is by far underused. He is really good.
Yeah,
and this new, I don't know, evil Trent. It's not really a new, but he's gotten to an evolution of it where it feels fully formed. That is brilliant.
And that's why he's in the Callis family, and there's no one else you can have in the Callis family that would have just an amazing match with Ibushi, who's experienced, who can lose.
But then we'll move on as it's a backstage segment. Renee Young's talking with AR Fox, and I almost said Rikishi. Ricochet shows up, and he's looking for a partner, and he basically asks AR Fox to be his partner, and Fox is kind of, he doesn't really want to, but he kind of he halfway sticks his hand out where Ricochet grabs it and shakes it, and it's like, oh, thank you for saying you'll be my partner. It just kind of goaded him into being his partner for the night anyway, but it didn't really work out because they would lose by,
Ricochet would leave in the middle of the match.
The tag. Yeah, exactly. He just left, and AR Fox got beat by Kevin Knight, Jet Speed, Kevin Knight, Mike Bailey. That was an odd thing, but I get it.
That actually might lead to a feud.
Yeah,
and that'll be AR Fox's first feud.
And it makes Ricochet even more of a heel, even more of just a dastardly bad guy, you know. But MJF comes out, discusses his match with Mystico, continues to gloat about that. He's interrupted by Mark Briscoe. That was funny. Briscoe was like, the producers told me you were taking too long, so I had to come out here and say something. And then they just went off and talked about teeny tiny kosher pickles or something like that. I'm not really...
Yeah, MJF and Briscoe were going at it. He was like, go back to your farm in Delaware and count your chickens.
Before we get into the match with Briscoe here in just a little bit, which was a Casino Gauntlet 4-way, something that's really interesting happened on MLW. Mystico is on MLW as well. So there is a segment where Mystico is in the ring and he is attacked by Contra. Contra units all black masked, they're hooded up and everything. Mystico fights them all off, and then another member of Contra shows up that he can't fight off. It takes him out, and then the black hood comes off, and it's someone wearing a Mystico mask. The person rips up the Mystico mask, and it's MJF wearing the mask that he took off of Mystico at Grand Slam Mexico. This is a feud that's going on between three companies. That is amazing. Yeah. That is very rare.
That's good on MLW for letting it happen.
Well, I mean, there's been an odd bit of a working... Since MLW in 2019, they couldn't afford to stay open with the COVID, right? Tony Khan could. Tony Khan got a lot of talent from MLW. I mean, tons. Basically just signed them away. Tony Schiavone came from MLW. MJF came from MLW. They got a lot. They took a lot of MLW, so Court Bauer's been a little bit iffy to work with them again. But Court Bauer's been working with CMLL for a while. When the top guy in CMLL is one of your top guys, is coming into AEW as a top guy, why are you not continuing that feud, especially when a guy who helped build your company, MJF, is coming back into that?
I don't understand why he would be petty. If he didn't have the money to stay open, what did he expect Tony Khan to do? Like, not assign the talent, not give the talent jobs? Well, did he expect him to subsidize MLW?
Well, it's just when they came back, like, they're just now getting back to being anywhere close to what they were. They're just now getting back to being anywhere close to what they were. And they're not even a quarter of where they were in 2019 as far as my personal opinion goes.
Well, their stories suck.
But they are starting to get a lot better, and they're starting to get a lot better in ring now. But we'll see how that plays out between all of them. But now we got to get into the Casino Gauntlet 4-way, because this is going to determine the number one entrant in the Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal, and that's important because that can end at any time. It's a different Battle Royal if you're not familiar. The first person to score the pinfall wins. It doesn't matter if you're the first two people in there and you knock the guy out and you score. Nobody else gets to come in. You win. Yay, you're the Battle Royal winner. So it's a little bit different. So the number one entrant is a big spot. It would be Mark Briscoe taking on Konosuke Takeshita, Roderick Strong, and Bandito. With Briscoe getting the win, he would hit the froggy bow on Roderick Strong. Mark Briscoe, number one guy in the Casino Battle Royal.
Yeah, I mean, I could have done without it, but I think it had to happen to make sense.
Well, let's see. We would go to the
I
women's.
I could have done with Roderick Strong winning it.
Well, there would be a women's number one contender, number one gauntlet match qualifier, if you whatever you want to call it. Willow Nightingale would take on Thunder Rosa, Athena, and Chris Statlander, with Statlander getting the win as she would take advantage of a distraction, hit a tombstone slam.
Right, so this is what I was thinking of when I said Athena lost a multi-women match.
Yeah, but
she didn't get pinned, though.
Exactly, there you go. But then we would lead to the main event as Beast Mortos getting a lot more opportunity. I don't know if it's him becoming a lawyer. I don't know if it's who he's dating, but he's getting a lot more opportunity lately, and he's taking advantage of it, although he would lose this encounter to Hangman Page in the main event. But the lights would go out. Come back up, the Young Bucks are there. They hit the BTE trigger on Page. Marina Shafir, Mox comes out. Basically turns into a fight where Will Ospreay comes out. Everybody comes out. I forgot to mention Mox with the chain on Hangman. Knocks him out with the chain. Basically, you go off the air. Hangman looks like he's dead. Medical teams are attending to him everywhere.
But Swerve couldn't come help because he got taken away from the arena, right? Because he attacked an official.
Because the Young Bucks banned him. I forgot about that. The Young Bucks banned him from the arena a little bit earlier because of the trying to get to him. But yeah, that is Dynamite this week. Now let's go to Collision, because as good as Dynamite was, I thought this might have been the better show.
I don't think so.
Tony Schiavone's out
I think
first.
there was one match, one or two matches that were really great, but I think Dynamite as a show was better.
See, Tony Schiavone's out first with the Outrunners. Basically, they're setting up an Outrunners FTR match. FTR comes out and it's like, why do you guys have a problem with us? We've helped you out all the time. Outrunners play the generic babyface. That's going to set up a match with them on Collision 100 coming up. You got the 300th episode of Dynamite Wednesday, the 100th episode of Collision. I don't know if it's Thursday or Saturday this week.
I don't know.
That is cool that they're so evenly timed like that, or so evenly spaced that they were able to do that. But we are going to Christian Cage and Nick Wayne coming to the ring. They are taking on Big Bill, Brian Keith. Basically, Christian Cage and Nick Wayne are going to get the win, and this is setting them up to go for the tag titles or for the intergenerational titles to be added, which I am not a fan of in any way.
They keep saying they're going to be the first father-son tag champions the whole time, and they're not going to get the tag titles. I think you're right. I think they're going to bring in their own tag titles. That's going to be a gimmick, and it's going to only last for like 2 months.
It shouldn't last at all, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you don't want to make your company a gimmick company like WWE. You don't want to do that. But we'll move on to more wrestling as Brody King and Templario would team up to take on Hechicero and Rocky Romero. Brody King getting a lot of buzz because of the shirt he wore on Grand Slam Mexico. Him and Templario are going to get the win in this one, as King would hit the Gonzo Bomb on Rocky Romero for the win.
Yeah, that looked... the Gonzo Bomb actually looked really good. It was probably one of his best ones he's done. But yeah, he's getting a lot of push because, I mean, he's all over the news. He was on American...
CNBC,
yeah, they said one of the biggest professional wrestlers in the world. That's what they called him.
Nice. But then it's a women's match, Megan Bayne and Verta Vixen. When I'm looking up the descriptions of this, I try to just kind of give a little bit of all that. Here, we can tell you the whole match right here. Bayne kicked Verta Vixen in the face, picked her up by her hair. Verta Vixen kicked Bayne in the ear. Bayne responds with a right hand, sending her to the mat. Lariat, Fate's Descent, Megan Bayne. I mean, that's about as quick as the match was, about as long as it took me to say.
Yeah, it was an enhancement match for the local talent that was there.
But then, Adam Cole had issued a challenge on Dynamite, an open open challenge for a title match to any member of the Callis family. Josh Alexander would answer that one. This would be a good match. It would end as
really
Alexander would catch a super kick. Cole delivered the boom for the win. Just try to get to the pin. There's a whole lot more in the match, but
Adam Cole looked a lot better in this match than he has in previous weeks. I don't know why, but for some reason I feel like he acts like him and Kyle O'Reilly were like acting too much. Like they weren't actually wrestling. They were just doing like 5 moves of doom for some reason. Like they weren't.
Yeah. That's not what you do in AEW. You don't have 5 moves of doom.
But he looked better here. He looked really good.
Then it's Queen Aminata, Sky Blue. Let's see. Aminata would reverse the code blue and cover blue for 2. Aminata follow with the follow with off with her head for the win. Aminata would get the win after the match. Julia Hart would get in the ring, and they would stare each other down. Thekla would join them. Blue attacked Aminata from behind. All 3 women attacked her. TJ would make the save. That's setting up for a big multi-woman match, I believe.
Yeah. Sky Blue needs something else, though. I mean, I like that she's still with Julia Hart. They need to find them a women's tag team name and a tag title and put her with the Hounds of Hell, or I guess the Hound of Hell, because we don't know if the other one's coming back. Yeah,
Buddy Matthews. You hope all the best for him. But then we move on to the main event: Kyle Fletcher versus Kyle O'Reilly, with dueling Kyle chants all night.
Yeah, and AEW actually posted on their YouTube. They post different camera angles, which I think look better than the actual ones they use on TV. But it was a really great match, and this is what I was talking about with Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole just a second ago. Kyle O'Reilly, last couple weeks, he's been looking amazing. He's looking like he's actually wrestling instead of just like
going through some motions.
I can kick you a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, they look like a WWE version of themselves.
But they shouldn't be,
because it's not WWE. But Kyle Fletcher would get the win in this one. After the match, Archer and Fletcher double team O'Reilly until Paragon and Daniel Garcia ran him off. You're trying to put Daniel Garcia with guys, I know, because you put Wheeler Yuta with a guy, look what happened. But you didn't put Lee Johnson with anybody, and look what's happening with him. You know what I mean? Some guys get it, some guys don't. I don't think Garcia is going to be a guy who gets it anywhere outside the ring. You know what I mean?
I think he needs to find his Disco Inferno thing and do that forever.
He's got it, but you can't try to push a dick dancer as a legitimate wrestler.
That's not what I'm talking about. You know, Disco Inferno, he did his little thingy. It got Gimmick of the Year one year, and that was his whole...
Yeah.
Because he couldn't be anything else.
He can be Daniel Garcia. He can be a dick dancer, but have the personality as well. Don't try to be a professional wrestler while you're sitting there shoving your dick in everyone's face.
I can't find any enjoyment out of his style of wrestling, because it's just feels like it's thrown together almost. Like there's no identity to it.
Yeah, none at all.
This week in history.
Well, all right, now it is time for This Week in Wrestling History. Got a few things we're going to talk about this week. Kind of got to search through the years. The week we're covering June 23rd through June 29th. And the first thing we are going to talk about happened on June 23rd, 1994. As WCW World Champion Ric Flair, he would defeat the International World Champion Sting in a unification match at Clash of the Champions 27 in North Charleston, South Carolina. This might be the only unified title match that I like, because it brought us the big gold. This was when the big gold was awarded to Ric Flair.
Right.
June 23rd, 1994. Well, let's move backwards in time to June 26th, 1976, where Antonio Inoki and Muhammad Ali would take place in a boxer versus wrestler match in Tokyo.
Yeah, and I bet that was awful.
It probably was, because I don't know how legitimate it was, but the match would go to a 15-round draw.
What?
Because Inoki spent most of the time on his back trying to kick at Ali, because he was barred from using throws, suplexes, or submissions during the match.
Wow.
The wrestler couldn't wrestle, but the boxer could box. It might have been real, probably not, but Inoki spent so much time on his back just trying to kick that Ali couldn't punch him.
The hell was New Japan doing?
And the final thing we're going to talk about this week, a little bit of realism in wrestling is always fun, because June 29th, 1986, Nick Bockwinkel was awarded the AWA World Championship in Denver, Colorado, with a forfeit win over Stan Hansen. The reality was that Hansen had walked out on AWA because of his loyalty to All Japan Pro Wrestling. Well, Hansen thought, hey, that's a slight. You're taking my title, giving it to this guy, didn't even get a chance to lose, didn't get to do a job on it or to work it out anyway. So he was mad about it. And he still had the AWA title. So what did he do? He laid it on his driveway, drove over it with his pickup truck, and mailed the broken parts back to the AWA. That's not even a work. That's not even a bit. That is
good on him.
That is a straight up.
They sue him?
Oh man, I don't think he sued people back then. That's just kind of what it was. But that is This Week in History.
Match of the week.
Well, match of the week time, and normally for me, all of my matches of the week come from Dynamite, but this week they're both going to come from Collision, as my honorable mention this week is going to be Josh Alexander, Adam Cole, TNT title match, Adam Cole getting the win.
What were the matches on Dynamite again?
Well, on Dynamite, you had, it started off with Ospreay and Strickland taking on Blake Christian, Lee Johnson. Then it was Coda versus Trent, Ricochet and AR Fox taking on Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey.
Yeah.
Then you had the Casino Gauntlet 4-way, both men and women. Then the main event was Hangman and Beast Mortos.
I'll go my honorable mention be the Casino Gauntlet for the women, because I remember that match was actually insane. They went hard.
All right, yeah, I'll give you that one. But my match of the week has got to be the main event of Collision. Kyle Fletcher taking on Kyle O'Reilly. Let's go, Kyle. Kyle sucks. It was just, the crowd themselves with the variations of Kyle chants, that was awesome, but the match itself was great.
And then they were like, they said like Kyle forever, and if you like look at Kyle, he goes, "They love me here."
Yeah.
Or he's like,
look at Kyle Fletcher.
Or they said, "That's not Kyle," and he goes, "I'm Kyle."
It was just They had I think they even did Seven Nation Army with only saying Kyle.
They did Ole 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 with Kyle.
Ah, there you go.
But they did Whose House, Kyle's House. They just whoever chant you can make into it.
But that was very cool. If you haven't seen those, go back and watch Collision. Go back and watch Dynamite. Take a look at those. That's Match of the Week.
And after it's all over, you say, "Oh, what a lovely tea party."
Third League. Wrestling Radio.
Well, all right, to close it out, we have got to talk upcoming shows. And, of course, we're going to talk about All in Texas because we are going to be there. But a show that we are not going to get to be at is the day before Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor 2025. We're going to talk about this because we have got some great matches lined up. The pure title match, Blue Panther. He beat Lee Moriarty in Mexico. So now he's coming for his title shot. He is taking on Lee Moriarty in the pure title match.
I think they're going to give it to him.
Maybe.
I think because what's going to happen is Blue Panther's going to win the title, and then Bryan Danielson's music hits. Danielson versus Panther for the pure title.
But Lee Moriarty, the champion, taking on Blue Panther. And then the World Tag Team title match. The Sons of Texas are putting their titles on the line. No contenders as of yet. We'll have to watch Honor Club to find out more on that. But the Ring of Honor World title is on the line as
Bandido.
Konosuke Takeshita will be challenging Bandido. And that is not the main event. We know what the main event is. Athena defending her title against Thunder Rosa. Main event of Supercard of Honor 2005.
2005?
2025. My God. Let's go up here to talk about All in Texas. Of course, we don't know all the participants in the gauntlet, but we do know Mark Briscoe is in the men's gauntlet. We do know Chris Statlander.
We do know a few surprises. Always is at least one.
Always going to be a few surprises in the gauntlet. But the women's world title match, Mercedes Moné challenging for Toni Storm. We're in disagreement about this. You think Mercedes is going to win and take all the titles? I think if she's doing that, it's going to be a little bit later. It's not going to be here. I think
she's going to be the women's universal champion. She's going to be the first real world champion where she has every title in the main companies except for WWE.
But then unification bout. We'll have to see how this works. I am rarely
undisputed title,
the unified title,
whatever.
I am rarely for unifications. In fact, I've been vocally against it on this show. But I am not against the match in any way, as the Continental Champion Kenny Omega the Continental Champion Kazuchika Okada takes on International Champion Kenny Omega for the new AEW Unified title.
I'm assuming the Continental Classic is going to be like winner gets a shot at the Unified title, and it's going to be the World title of Collision. You're going to have the AEW Championship as the World title of Dynamite. So I think.
Yeah, I know they created the Continental title to have a sort of North American Triple Crown with the strong title, with everything else, but I think the only way to have a real Triple Crown now that everybody's working together is if someone holds, for instance, New Japan, or the IWGP Heavyweight title, the AEW World title, and the CMLL World title.
Well, I
think that's the only true way to have a Triple Crown now. I don't think it's North American.
That's how the Triple Crown originally
I don't think it's
started.
Companies. I don't think you can. I think that's the only way to do it now.
Yeah.
But in what is highly assumed to be the main event of All In Texas, Hangman Adam Page will challenge Jon Moxley for the AEW World title.
Yep. I'm expecting at least like 3 title changes on this card. I mean, the unification match will count as a title change because it's a new title, but then I expect a new women's champion. That's a title change. I expect a new men's champion. And I guess Moxley could keep it, but I don't like the implications or the plans of where that goes.
Yeah, I think it is an Adam Page win on this one, although I don't know where you go after that unless it's them trying to defend AEW again, because the Death Riders aren't letting up. They're still trying to take over.
It's more of Hangman's story than it is. We watched Hangman fight for 3 years to get this back.
But that is our show this week. We will see you next week. We will be getting ready for AEW All In Texas. We'll have the lead up onto that. We'll be able to talk about Collision 100, Dynamite 300. That is all on the show next week. Thank you for joining us here on Third League Radio.
Thank you for listening to this edition of Third League Radio. Download the latest episodes at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Catch the live radio show every weekend starting at 10 p.m. You can listen live every Friday night at mix961.net. This has been Third League Radio.